Okay, we're going to talk about wrapping Teflon tape. It seems like one of the things that we have to learn right off the bat is proper way to wrap Teflon tape. Teflon tape needs to be wrapped in the same way as the threads, which is going to be clockwise. The easiest way to do is to hold your fitting with the threaded portion out, and if you start on the top, then you can start your Teflon tape. You can hold it onto the threads, and then you can start wrapping it. I like to hold it between my first and second fingers, and then what I do is I start wrapping it clockwise. That first wrap, if you get that first wrap around, then as it comes around, it'll actually hold that very first strip. And then you can just continue on, and you can just wrap it clockwise. Typically 3 or 4 rotations is all that you need to be able to do. That way it's not real hard, it's not real cumbersome, it's no problem with practicing if you want to practice. And then I go ahead and I pull it tight, pull it snug so that it grabs a hold of the threads, and then I can go ahead and I can tear it off. Now you're ready to go ahead and install it. It's important that as we're doing this, and that we start off with some clean threads. So go ahead and clean out your threads. And make sure that if you're reinstalling a fitting or you're installing a brand new one, that the threads are clean, that you don't have any large, bulky, big chunks of Teflon tape. You can still have some remnants there. That's not the problem, leaving remnants on there. We just don't want like big old huge chunks or anything like that. So to repeat, we're just going to start off with our tape, start off with the strip, and we're going to put holding the fitting with the threads sticking out. I'm left-handed, so I wrap with my left, I hold it with my right. You might be opposite. The main thing is that we wrap the tape on there clockwise, the same way that the thread gets turned on. What happens if you wrap it counterclockwise is as you thread this fitting on, it wants to go ahead and unwrap itself, and you don't get a good seal. So it's important that you start clockwise, practice with that, start the little strip, hold it onto the threads. As you come around across the top, then that wrap will hold the very beginning. Hold it snug. You're going to do that 3, maybe 4 times is all you need, and then you can go ahead and you can tear it off. Okay, I'm going to leave a little bit of strip just hanging out. I wouldn't normally do that. That way I can go ahead and just pull it off. So if you remember anything at all, wrap it 3 or 4 times, and make sure it's done clockwise so that as you thread this fitting on, it's going to go ahead and it's going to keep the tape onto the thread, as opposed to wrapping it counterclockwise, and as you thread it, it's going to want to actually unravel and take itself off. If you have any questions, this is important enough. You need to talk to your supervisor, your service manager, get some one-on-one assistance so that you're comfortable with that when you get out in the field, you're ready to go.